We want to go right now to Arthur Wolk, aviation expert right now, who we just spoke to regarding the plane crash 2 days ago in the Potomac River, D.C. Now talking to you, unfortunately, about this tragedy that happened right in our own backyards. What can you tell us, what you know, and what you have learned so far?
I think the most important bit of evidence that we've seen so far is the doorbell video showing the aircraft descending at an incredible angle, like almost 45 degrees, which means that the airplane was out of control. No pilot would voluntarily descend any airplane at that angle. That probably resulted in the airplane striking the ground at over 400 knots and probably 5 or even 10,000 feet a minute going down that fast. So something overtook this flight crew, whether it was a mechanical malfunction that affected the pitch of the airplane, in other words, up or down, whether it was a flight control malfunction that wouldn't allow them to recover the airplane, whether there was an instrument failure in the airplane that would not allow them to fly the airplane under the weather conditions that existed, although there are duplicates of all those instruments with the first officer on the right seat, and so that is less likely. I think given the horrible destruction, the sad, utter and complete destruction of this airplane, I think much of the evidence will have to come from the cockpit voice recorder to see what the crew was talking about. And perhaps if they communicated their emergency to air traffic control, those air traffic control tapes might be helpful as well. And then that might drive the investigation to look at whatever small pieces there are left to see what, if any, malfunction there was.
Arthur, this was a Learjet 55. Can you talk to us about specifically what kind of plane that is and what it is typically used for and what the capacity is for an aircraft like that?
Well, the Lear 55 was an outgrowth of all the Learjets that we are all familiar with and have heard about over the years. It's a much larger version. It has a much larger interior, and therefore it's used a lot now for medevac purposes because you can get stretchers and other kinds of equipment in there and out of there more easily than in the smaller Learjets. Very, very fast airplane. As fast as any airliner, even faster, flies very high up into the 50,000s of feet. Relatively fuel efficient, can fly a long way, and because it's so fast, if you have a medical emergency patient, it allows you to get them from place to place quickly. It's a two-pilot airplane. In other words, you have to have two certified flight tested pilots at the controls. It has fully duplicated controls. It's a very sophisticated airplane for its day. It hasn't been made probably for the last 15 or 20 years, but it was a remarkable airplane when it was built and continues to fly in significant numbers around the world today.